Frank. What's the weirdest thing you've ever saw in here?
Let me ask you a question, kid. Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
Well, where are we gonna party?
I don't know, somewhere.
Hey, we could go to the park.
Oh, no, we can't. The cops said they'd shoot us if we go back to the park. Yeah, and I ain't in no mood to go tonight.
I like death.
Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to minute 69 of Do You Want to Party, the Movies by Minute podcast for the 1985 groundbreaking horror classic, The Return of the Living Dead. I'm your host, Troy, and this week I'm being joined by Fester's brother and his wife.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Gomez over here.
And I'm Tash, so
Yeah, more Tasha.
yeah, more Tasha.
Excellent, excellent. Welcome back to the show, you two.
Thank you.
All right, so we're just going to get right into this. So this particular minute is going to start with exiting the chapel and ends with cautiously looking around. Within the wee chapel of the dawn, with its boarded up windows, we find our group about to split up yet again. Sitting in the front most pew sits Ernie, hunched forward, resting his arms on his legs, his right hand holding his head with his forehead in his palm. In the aisle between the two rows of pews, Bert starts to stand from his recently crouched position after deciding to leave Tina to her own chosen fate, still brandishing his trusty lead pipe. Beside him is Spider, also in the movement to rise, as coming to terms with his friend Tina's decision. To either side of Spider lays two extremely sick men. On the left is an older gentleman named Frank, an employee of Bert's from Unita Medical Supplies. To Spider's right, his friend Freddie, and newest employee of the Unita Medical, as his first shift at work was starting less than 12 hours ago. Both men exhibiting the same symptoms of their mutual poisoning. Shaking limbs, gray skins with accents of purple and red, lips cracked and dry. Moaning and crying in pain and suffering. Lastly, we have Tina, Freddie's girlfriend, as she's on her knees and pulls her suffering boyfriend onto her lap while trying to be a comfort. As Bert scrambles fully to his feet and makes a hasty exit, quickly followed by Spider, Ernie snaps out of his funk to shudder back to life and follows the others. Crying continually coming from Tina as she brings Freddie closer to her in her arms, while the solo Frank clutches at his gut with a quivering bottom lip. Tina, now abandoned with the two animated dead men, throws her hands briefly up into an I don't know what to do here gesture before hugging Freddie once again. A key now turns a slide bolt as the most secure device. Meanwhile, outside in the back parking lot of the Resurrection Funeral Home, a pair of police officers drive towards the back entrance of the embalming, where the embalming room is located. As the vehicle pulls forward, the passenger cop relays on the CB an update.
Dispatch, this is Bravo 751. We're at the mortuary. We see two paramedic vehicles parked in the rear parking lot.
The side-mounted spotlight shining against the building and swipes to the right. As the driver pulls the police car to a halt, the description of the scene plays out for more information.
The doors on one vehicle are hanging open. Stand by while we investigate. Over.
Placing the car in park, both the doors sway open as the two officers step out, each donning their uniformed caps, which have a protective shower cap-like covering. The driver, real-life officer Paul Cloud, quickly surveys the area as his partner, actor Robert Craighead, reaches back inside the car to retrieve his shotgun, which he cocks, ejecting an unspent round. As Officer 1, the driver, raises his side arm up beside his head, he cautiously steps forward. His revolver at the ready, he advances. Head on a swivel, and after and after a handful of paces towards he relays his observation to his partner.
I got a man down.
Who is holding his position beside the still running car. By the first ambulance, its rear doors still open. The forward officer steps towards it with urgency, seeing the familiar yellow slicker of an ambulance worker as it lays face down on the pavement beside the emergency vehicle. He comes to a slight sliding halt and crouches to examine the fallen worker, only to witness the result of oozing gore. Blood and brains leaking from the half remaining portion of the man's head.
Oh, Jesus.
Using the Lord's name in vain at his view, he stands up again, gun raised to be ready as his head looks around with even more caution. And that's where we end this minute. So first to point out, there's a little bit of action that actually kind of happens in between the edits of these 2 minutes. When Bert finally decides, okay, we're going to leave Tina here and let's go, sort of thing, Clue Gallagher actually swings the lead pipe and actually hits Don Calfa on the knee with the actual pipe. That's why Don Calfa suddenly does a sudden jerk all of a sudden, because he's all of a sudden just been hit in the knee by the lead pipe. But because it's in the middle of like a full-on movement and it happens in between the actual edit, you don't actually see it very clearly, but it does happen when you splice the 2 minutes together. You catch it because him and Miguel Nunez quickly get up and walk out, and obviously once Don Calfa recovers from being hit in the knee with the lead pipe, he gets to his feet and leaves as well, sort of thing. And the other thing is the paramedic whose brain we seize is obviously paramedic number 2, which is Drew Delgan, the actual like lighter-haired gentleman, because obviously his partner, who is James Del Sandro, because obviously James has darker hair, but in the shot where we get send more paramedics, we see in the background his head being actually removed from his body, being chomped on by a girl in the background and all that sort of thing. So obviously with the head still attached, it's not him. All right, so what do you guys got? Anything you want to add to this particular description of the minute?
Well, I mean, it's basically a setup minute. So we're kind of in between actions here.
I'm just patiently waiting for minute 7. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just sorry. Not sorry.
No, not at all. This is for future historians. This is an upcoming minute that Natasha has thrived for the past little while. She's like, I just want to do this scene. I just want to do this. I want to make sure. Is it this scene? Is this the minute? Is this the minute where it happens and all that sort of thing? And
well, no, because the first time I ever watched it, I felt bad saying this. I genuinely said that my favorite part of the movie was, I guess, 70. And not because the rest of the movie wasn't good. It just was like, I felt like I found something like precious in minute 70. That I don't often see. Like I might have seen it in other movies. I just haven't noticed it, but I noticed it there.
Exactly.
So I've just been waiting.
But we'll talk about more of that, in the next minute. Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying it. I'm just hyped
exactly.
I mean, you're saying that the officer, the driver, was a real life officer.
Yes.
I'm assuming he got excited for his time to shine there.
Exactly. It comes up actually a little bit in the upcoming over on the commentary track, which again we deal with Dan O'Bannon, who is the writer-director, and William Stout, who is the production designer. So to begin with, Dan O'Bannon continues with his request for the prop department to replace the lead pipe that Clue Gallagher is carrying around with a fake one, as in Dan's words himself. At this point in the filming that, quote, Clue started punching me out in between takes. So his logic being afraid that he was actually used the lead pipe on him. Apparently, once they did, Clue would complain that he didn't have the actual lead pipe, where Dan would then mention that they didn't know where the actual lead pipe was at the time. He then he is then ecstatic to point out seeing the outside of the funeral home more clearly. And William points out that the driver of is an actual cop, and Dan asks how he had asked for actual cops. William includes the officer helped with realistic police dialogue, got a man down, which at the time wasn't commonly known as cop lingo. As we watch the oozing of the gore, Dan announces, "There we go, more cow brains."
Hmm.
So obviously, cow brains that hadn't sat in that container and rotted out at the point,
Yeah.
which is what they had mentioned quite a few minutes ago with what had happened with the brains and all that sort of thing. Now, as we do according to the script this particular time, again, we're dealing with a little bit of a shift around of the script. The script at this point runs in one particular way, while it's slightly different from the actual finished movie. So I'm just reworking the script portions that are relevant to the particular minute that we're dealing with in the final movie, but I'll explain what happens around the script version. So again, we're dealing with the story and screenplay by Dan O'Bannon. This is the revision from 1983, based on a story and screenplay by John Russo, Rudy Rickey, and Russell Steiner. Interior, chapel, night, rain. And again, as I just mentioned, the actual script is a little different than the final film, so we'll just finish off a couple of lines from the previous minute. Tina, defiant, "I'm staying." Bert, "Do what you want." Suddenly, a tremendous crash comes from the other room, accompanied by frenzied cries. Ernie, Bert, Meat, Scuzz, everybody except Frank, Freddy, and Tina run out of the chapel. Ernie stops long enough to slam shut the chapel doors and lock them. So, as you've probably realized from what I've just said, yes, that's right, Scuzz is involved with this sequence because the sequence of putting Frank and Freddy into the chapel actually in the script happens before the scene where we upcomingly lose Scuzz in the script form. Obviously, in the final version, we reshot that whole entire sequence to look different, but that's what we end up getting. And again, as previously mentioned, the sequence actually in the movie cuts from the key and lock to the police officers showing up. However, in the script version, we actually insert the Chuck and Casey scene where they are in the warehouse by themselves discussing whether or not they're going to be rescued or not. We then cut to interior, police car, night, no rain. Heading up the driveway towards the mortuary, two cops in a cruiser. Cop 1 into the radio. "Dispatch, dispatch, this is Bravo 16. We're in the mortuary. We see two paramedic vehicles parked in the rear parking lot. The patrol car pulls to a halt and sits with its motor running. The two ambulances are highlighted ahead in the headlights." Cop number 1 continued into radio. "The doors of one vehicle are hanging open. Stand by while we investigate. Over." Crackling and squawking comes for the radio. Exterior, police car, night, no rain. The two cops step out of the black and white. Cop number 2 draws his gun, while cop number 1 gets the shotgun from the dashboard. The headlights and the spotlights of the patrol car pin both ambulances in a pool of light. Cautiously, the cops approach. Steadicam, coming up on the second ambulance. They see a body on the ground. Cop number 1. "Hold it. What is that?" They approach the body. Carefully, cop 1 turns it over. It is one of the second group of paramedics. There is a big hole in the side of his head where his brains have been eaten. Cop number 1 continued. "Holy Christopher!" Carefully, they back away from the body. They are moving back to the police car to call it in. And that's where we meet up with the end of this minute.
Okay,
Look at how
before
quick
that,
and
though.
simple that was, huh? What was that?
Before that, though. So that,
What was
like,
that?
the brains spilling out, that was all, like,
Yes.
cow brains?
That is cow brains, yes. So
And nothing
basically,
else.
Oh, I'm sure they
well,
fancied it up.
whatever special effects
Sweet
they
and sour
used and all that
sauce or
sort of thing.
No, because, like, it looks, like, so nasty. And I feel like...
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's different consistencies of the brains itself, but Dan O'Bannon had basically had the actual original actors that were playing the zombies actually eating the brains, even though technically you don't really see a lot of it happening, but he had basically also had promised them extra pay if they were to eat the brains and all that sort of thing. And he also offered up himself, here, I'll eat the brains as well. So to prove that it was perfectly fine and all that sort of thing. So that was that. And so
No
basically when you
maggots.
see, yeah, when you see the brains actually on display in it, it is actually calf brains and all that sort of thing. So that's what you actually see rolling out of the skull of the
Maybe saw
half
that.
head.
It's not that uncommon.
No, just it looks like it looks like a really, really, really gross candy coming
Well,
out.
because like I said, they glazed it up with some other
That's
such,
what I want to.
some stuff. I don't know if it's edible or not, but
Everything's
Well,
edible.
I would think more than likely instead of mixing up two different concoctions and all that sort of thing, anything that they would probably have an actor eat, they probably used as well. Because again, we got a small budget, so again, a lot of it is probably going to the special effects and
maybe it is
whatnot.
sweet and sour sauce.
So it could be, you know what, it does have the consistency of that sweet and sour sauce, especially the redness of it and all that sort of thing. You
Yeah,
roll a couple of you have like a big clump of unbroken up calf brains, a bit of it
it could
chopped up
be.
and all that, that
It could
last
be.
little bit that spills
Yeah.
out and all that sort of thing. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you never really know.
one of the zombies have chopsticks.
Exactly. Eating out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Slurping it up.
All
Okay.
right. So when it
Go
comes to
ahead.
the
Proceed.
what was that?
Proceed with whatever. What was the next
Okay.
part?
The work print.
Yeah, that one. That's what
So
I
when
said.
we deal with the work per comparison, which is where we take the when you're done filming the entire movie, you bring all the footage together and you have one big lump sum movie. You then take that and then chop it down to what we have as our final sequence, our final film. For example, the current minute of 68:69, which is what we're currently dealing with. In the work print comparison, we were dealing with minute 80:35 to 81:51. So kind of neat to see that it's a little longer as well. So to begin with, the shot holding on Frank, Freddie, and Tina is a little longer, as we now hear Tina asking, while still crying, if Freddie is okay. There is no key in lock shot. And as the police car pulls into the parking lot of the funeral parlor, the description of what's going on being relayed by the one officer plays out fully from the view of the back seat of the cop car. Plus, the stop and getting out of the car of the shot is partly obstructed by the view from the ambulance door. And as the officer makes his way towards the ambulance, it is the one continuous shot where they both get out of the car and until he looks up to the body. And in the work print, there is no insert of the leaking brains. Obviously, again, another pickup shot like the key in the lock. All right, so anything else you guys want to add to this particular minute? It's a little bit of a short one, as
Yeah.
Ahmed said. It's a little bit of a breaching sort of thing, as we're about to step into a bit of an action sequence coming up and all that. Spoiler alert! But anything you guys want to add to this particular minute?
Well, it's pretty well covered. Like I said, there's not too much going on aside from like, get a quick flash, some brains on the ground, and I mean they get left the other part of the crew gets left behind, but aside from that, like we're just setting up for the next scene, next minute,
Exactly.
next shot,
Yeah,
next yeah.
yeah. It's basically another calm before the storm sort of
Yeah.
moment and all that sort of thing. Yeah. It is nice to see we finally see a nice little gore that we haven't seen for a little while. I mean, the last time
Yeah.
we saw was the fountain of blood coming out of Scuzz's head and all that sort of
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it's nice to remind every once in a while, like, oh yeah, there's a little bit of gore in this movie.
True.
A little bit of the sweet and sour.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the little sweet and sour, exactly. So right now we're going to put out there a current list of upcoming conventions in North America. This is something I should have been doing for quite a while, but after a couple of interviews with the actors, I've decided, better late than never. So here's where you will have an opportunity to meet and greet any of the cast members currently traveling around. On October 17th to 19th, Scarefest Weekend 17 in Lexington, Kentucky, where you'd be able to meet the entire cast. On October 24th to 26th, the Living Dead Weekend, being held in Monroeville, Pittsburgh. You'll get to meet the entire cast, unfortunately minus Leanna Quigley. However, both Stacy Q, the singer of Tonight, Trash's theme, and writer John Russo. as well as other Romero-verse actors, as the convention takes place in the Monroeville Mall, the location of the original Dawn of the Dead. November 8th to 9th, Memphis Monster Con in Memphis, Tennessee, where you'll be able to meet Linnea Quigley and Jewel Shepard. November 15th and 16th, San Antonio Fear Fest, San Antonio, Texas, where you get to meet Alan Trotman, as well as Return of the Living Dead Part 3's Melinda Clark. November 22nd to 23rd, Days of the Dead Chicago in Chicago, Illinois, where you'll be able to meet the entire cast. December 5th to 7th, Days of the Dead, Indianapolis, Indiana, where you'll be able to meet the entire cast.
Gotcha.
All right, so that being said, Ahmed, Natasha, thank you for joining me for this particularly quick little wrap up as we, again, a setup for what's about to come and all that sort of thing minute. But these are going to be far in between as we actually get to the pretty much climax of action and whatnot.
Yep.
Which is something to look forward to. Audience, thank you for joining me in this upcoming, with this train ride so far. We have some very interesting upcoming stuff coming in the next, again, we're doing this until the beginning of February and all that sort of thing, but I do have a couple of surprises along the way. I just actually finished recording a future minute with Alan Trotman, the gentleman who portrays Tarman in the movie, for a upcoming Tarman minute, but that's
awesome.
A few months in advance from the time that you're listening to this and all that, as we are currently beginning of October. So we're just going to see where this sort of thing takes us. And again, like I mentioned in the previous week, if you guys could do me, those listeners out there, can do me a favor, just leave a comment to wherever you are actually listening to this from. I just want to keep track of where everything's are. I see numbers in general of where people are listening and all that sort of thing, but I don't have actual, full meta information and all that sort of thing. So if you could just leave a comment or whatever sort of thing, a little zombie guy sort of emoji. That's the word. Why did I blank on the word emoji there all of a sudden? Wherever you caught wind of this particular thing. And again, if you're a fan of the movie, you're probably not the only person that you know that likes the movie. And you know what? You're into almost minute 70 of this whole entire thing. So you might as well pass on this to everyone else, because obviously you're listening to minute 70, so you're obviously enjoying yourself. So I'm pretty sure you have some other like-minded people that would enjoy this as well. So that would be very grateful. And once again, Ahmed, Natasha, thank you guys very much. I guess I'll see you in about a minute.
Thank you.
And I got nothing else to say except see you next Wednesday.
You've just been listening to a Planet Geek production of Do You Want to Party? A Movies by Minute podcast of the 1985 The Return of the Living Dead. Please be sure to subscribe, download, comment, share, rate, and review. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, or Letterboxd. Search for Planet Geek Productions. X, former Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, search for Planet Geek Pod. Or send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Our closing music is provided by Night Chill. See the show notes for more details. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and farewell, fiends.
I think I ate a maggot today. So.
Oh, that's good to know. That's always a very interesting circumstance to happen in a day. What
I
was the situation?
I was painting and eating an apple, and I've been waiting my entire life. I heard this joke. It was like what's worse than finding a worm in your apple?
Half a worm in your apple.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I've been waiting my entire life for this moment, and today was the day. Not
You've been
half.
prepping, eh?
I just been like, I eat too many like fruits and vegetables and things that like this could happen.
About bars.
Right.
And I took a bite as I was painting and I looked down. The apple was beautiful. So like I didn't even think about anything. And when I took a bite, I looked and I see like this whole brown area with like like marks of like, where it has been. And I looked
Right.
and see a nice thick plump juicy something. Now it was dead, which was nice.
Okay.
And I don't even know if I ate it. But I definitely, my tooth definitely like grazed him.
Grazed it at most.
So immediately I look down as I'm like swallowing the bite of apple and I run to the
Uh-huh.
compost thing, spit out whatever, and throw the apple away. Um, and then proceed to send my first ever like voice message to Ahmed where I'm literally gagging, saying like, I
Oh
just ate an
no.
apple. Yeah. Anyway, I'm fine. Like ChatGPT told me I'm gonna be okay, so
Well, because you can definitely count on GPT to tell you what's up and all.
I'm what do you call it? A severe hypochondriac. I think I have everything all the time, and I must say I'm not for AI,
Okay.
but ChatGPT in terms of like medical diagnosis
Right.
has like significantly improved my quality of life.
Gotcha.
Whether it's
All right.
like real or
Whoop.
not, makes me feel better. So
Okay, and like I said, with the having to add the script and throwing in the date things out, that'll stretch out the minute a little more, and I might actually throw the Apple thing after the credits, sort of thing, because that's the
yeah,
if that's okay with you, Natasha.
yeah, no, it's all good.